absolute pardon. Pero siyempre, kapag ka bilang isang convicted offender na na-serve mo na yung sentence mo, okay, may extinguish na rin yung criminal liability, and that is what we call by service of sentence. Okay? Hindi siya absolute pardon, by service of sentence. So ito siyan. So these are the following grounds for the total extinction of criminal liability. Ito yan. Okay? So, kapag ka isa man dito ay nangyari, the criminal liability will be totally extinguished. Ang ibig sabihin, mawawala, matatanggal. Okay? Una, by death of the convict, by service of sentence, by amnesty, by absolute pardon, by prescription of crime, by prescription of the penalty, and by marriage of the offended woman. Okay, so kung ang tinatanong, ano yung mode of extinguishing criminal liability kapag ka nakumpleto na yung kanyang sentence, of course, that is by service of sentence. Okay, next. So what is the loss of the government's right to execute the final sentence after a certain period of time? Okay, so is it alpha, prescription of crime, bravo, prescription of penalty, Charlie, conditional pardon, or delta, probation? Ano sagot dito? The loss of the government's right to execute the final sentence. Okay, execution. Hindi na ma-execute yung final sentence after a certain period of time. So, ang keyword natin dito, execute. Kapag hindi na po pwedeng i-execute ni government yung final sentence, that is prescription of penalty. What about the keyword for prescription of crime? Ang keyword natin dyan, prosecute. Hindi na po pwedeng i-prosecute ni government. Okay, after a certain period of time, that is prescription of crime. Okay, so prescription of crime, hindi na po pwedeng i-prosecute. Prescription of penalty, hindi na po pwedeng i-execute. Okay? Next. So, Pedro committed a crime punishable by reclusion perpetua in 1996. However, the authorities only discovered the crime in 2025. And the case was filed immediately after discovery. So, Pedro argues that the crime was already prescribed. So, what is the correct ruling? Is it alpha, the crime was prescribed since 20 years passed from commission? Bravo, the crime was prescribed since the delay in filing was too long. Charlie, the crime was not prescribed since crime is never prescribed. Or delta, the crime was not prescribed since it starts upon discovery. Kailan ba nag-uumpisa kasi yung prescription of crime? Or kailan nag-uumpisa yung prescription of penalty? Take note, nag-uumpisa lang yung prescription of crime kapag ka na-discover na yung crime. Diba? Paano ba na-discover yung crime? Maaaring may nag-file ng kaso. Kaya naman maraming saksi na nakakita doon sa nangyaring krimen. Diba? Upon discovery. Yung penalty naman, mag-i-start lang yan kapag ka tinakasan na yung kanyang sentensya. Okay? So, what will be the correct answer for this question? The answer would be delta. Okay, the crime was not prescribed. Bakit? Because hindi naman, even though na-commit yan ni Pedro noong 1996, hindi naman kasi na-discover. So, take note, hanggat hindi na-discover yan, ay hindi po mag-i-start yung prescription of crime. Kailangan ma-discover muna, makapag-file muna ng kaso, umakyat muna yan sa court. So, kung hindi yun mangyayari, kumbaga parang walang discovery, hindi magpe-prescribe. Okay? So, these are the following grounds for the total extinction of criminal liability. Discuss natin specifically yung prescription of crime. Okay? So, what is prescription of crime? That is the forfeiture or loss of the right of the state to prosecute the offender after a lapse of a certain time. So, ito yung time wherein magpe-prescribe crime committed. Okay? So, crimes punishable by death, reclusion perpetua, or reclusion temporal, kailan siya magpe-prescribe after 20 years. Kapag ka naman other applicable penalties yan, 15 years. Kapag ka it is punishable by correctional penalty, that is 10 years. Kapag ka naman punishable by correctional arresto mayor, that is 5 years. Libel or other similar offenses is 1 year. Oral defamation and slander by deed, magpe-prescribe yan after 6 months. And then light offenses is 2 months. Okay? Ayan. So, ayan yung ating legal classification of penalties para mas madali nyo maintindihan. Again, capital punishment, wala na tayo yan. By the way, the capital punishment is death. So, ano yung mga afflictive? Okay? Afflictive penalties, or rather afflictive penalties. Ayan. Reclusion perpetua, afflictive yan, 20 years and 1 day to 40 years. Reclusion temporal, 12 years and 1 day to 40 years. And then prison mayor, 6 years and 1 day to 12 years. So dahil given doon sa law natin na prescription of crime, yung death, which is the capital punishment, reclusion perpetua, and reclusion temporal, it shall prescribe after 20 years. So ano na lang yung natitira doon sa other afflictive penalties na magpe-prescribe after 15 years, yung prison mayor. So kapag yung crime na na-commit ay penalty ay prison mayor, magpe-prescribe yan after 15 years. Okay? Other correctional penalty, yung prison correctional, which is punishable by 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. So 10 years yan. And then kapag ka naman arresto mayor, ang duration niya ay 1 month and 1 day to 6 months. So magpe-prescribe yan after 5 years. Then yung arresto minor natin or yung light offenses, ayan, magpe-prescribe after 2 months. Okay. So for prescription of penalty naman, that is the loss or forfeiture of the right of the government to execute the final sentence after the lapse of a certain time. So again, our keyword for prescription of penalty is execute. Hindi na po pwedeng i-execute ni government. Kapag ka naman prescription of crime, hindi na po pwedeng i-prosecute ni government kapag ka nag-lapse na yung crime. Okay? But about what is partial extinction of criminal liability? Okay? So it is a partial extinction because there remains liability although it is lessened by conditional pardon, commutation of sentence, parole, probation, and for good conduct earned by the offender while serving his sentence. So under the partial extinction of criminal liability, the crime is not totally extinguished or the criminal liability is not totally extinguished, but rather it is partially extinguished. Kumbaga, nababawasan lang. Kaya nga ang sample natin dito is yung conditional pardon, commutation of sentence, parole, probation, and yung mga nabibigyan ng good conduct time allowance or other time allowances. Okay? So take note that the director of prison shall grant an allowance for good conduct and for loyalty. And then if it is granted, it cannot be revoked. That is according to our law, Republic Act 10592. Kapag ka na-grant na ang GCTA, kapag ka nag-grant na yung STAL, yung TAS-PM, once granted, it cannot be revoked. Hindi na po pwedeng bawiin. Okay? Now, let's discuss special time allowance for loyalty or STAL. So according to Article 98 of the Revised Penal Code, which was amended by Republic Act 10592, okay, merong deduction na 1/5 if the convict voluntarily surrendered within 48 hours after the declaration of passing of calamities or conflagration or even man-made crisis. Tanong lang ni Mr. Estera about sa exam. Ay tanong po kasi doon yung capital punishment pero wala pong death penalty. Yes, kung wala yung death penalty, ano yung susunod doon? Of course, that is the reclusion perpetua. So kapag yung isang offender natin, okay, whether it is a detainee na nag-sign ng manifestation or PDL's manifestation or convicted offender, once na sila ay tumakas during a period of a calamity, a conflagration, or even a man-made crisis, and then bumalik sila within 48 hours after the declaration of the passing away of calamity, they are given the deduction of 1/5 or equivalent to 20% of their sentence. Take note of that. Okay? 1/5 or 20% of their sentence. Now, ang pinagbabasihan pa natin ay revised penal code, walang deduction para sa mga nanatili. Pero nung lumabas yung Republic Act 10592, kapag ka ikaw, during calamity, during a crisis, nanatili ka sa loob ng kulungan, okay, ang deduction mo ay 2 PIP or equivalent to 40%. So minus 40% or 2 PIP of your remaining sentence. Okay, that is according to Republic Act 10592. 1 PIP kapag ka tumakas at bumalik within 48 hours. 2 PIP naman yung deduction kapag ka nanatili habang nagkakaroon ng disaster. Okay? Now, paano kung hindi ka bumalik, tumakas ka pero hindi ka bumalik within 48 hours after the declaration of the passing away of calamity? Ang magiging liability mo dyan ay Article 158, Evasion of Service of Sentence. Take note. Okay? So that is due to the failure to return within 48 hours after passing of calamity or disorder. So surrendered after 48 hours shall also be charged. Let's say, for example, after 49 hours, dun ka lang nakabalik, masasampahan ka pa rin ng kasong Article 158, pero yung pag-surrender mo voluntarily will be a mitigating circumstance. Okay? So take note, if a PDL fails to surrender within 48 hours, he can be held criminally liable for Article 158, Evasion of Service of Sentence. So ano yung penalty na po pwedeng maidagdag sa kanya? So additional 1 PIP na i-compute doon sa kanyang remaining sentence, pero dapat hindi lalagpas ng 6 months. Yan na yung maximum penalty na pwedeng maidagdag. 6 months. Okay? So question, Manansala is serving his sentence for 25 months and has never been involved in any violation in rules and regulation on institutional correction. So how many days is he entitled to the deduction of his sentence? So kapag ka 25 months ka nang nagsiserve, ilan na yung pwede mong ma-earn na good conduct time allowance per month? Okay, so some of you answered bravo and that is the correct answer. So bakit bravo? Kasi lumagpas na po ng 2 taon. So during the first up to the second year, which is the first month hanggang 24th month, diba? 20 days ang pwede mong ma-earn every month of good behavior. Okay? So kapag gaya na lumagpas na ng 2 taon, ang count na natin dyan, during the 3rd up to the 5th, okay, 23 days naman yung deduction. During the 6th up to the 10th, 25 days, and then 11 and succeeding years is 30 days. Okay? Ayan. So sino yung nag-grant ng time allowance? Take note, 3 ang pwedeng mag-grant. Una, the Director of Bucor, in case na yung ating prisoner ay nakapiit or nakakulong sa Bucor, ayan, nakakulong sa hinahandle ng Bucor, the Chief of the BJMP, and then the Warden of the Provincial, City, or Municipal Jail. Now, before the grant of time allowance, kailangan munang i-assess yan at i-evaluate. Okay? So, ang gagawa niyan is yung MSEC. So, the MSEC was established by virtue of Republic Act 10592. At ang ibig sabihin ng MSEC ay Management, Screening, and Evaluation Committee. So, ang trabaho nila is to assess and to evaluate qualified prisoners at sila din yung nagre-recommend kay Director of Bucor, kay Chief of the BJMP, or kay Warden ng Provincial, City, or Municipal Jail. Okay? So question, what it is called when criminal liability is reduced but not completely extinguished, such as through parole, probation, or commutation of sentence? Is it alpha, total extinction of criminal liability, B, conditional liability, Charlie, partial extinction of criminal liability, and delta, judicial pardon? So tanggalin na natin yung mga out of the world choices na hindi naman talaga nag-exist. There's no such thing as conditional liability. There's no such thing as judicial pardon. Okay? So between Alpha and Charlie, what is the correct answer? The criminal liability is reduced. Of course, that is partial extinction of criminal liability. Kasi sa total extinction, hindi lang reduced. Totally extinguished yan. Okay? Kaya nga sa total extinction. Next. What term refers to the non-violation of prison rules and active involvement in rehabilitation program and authorized work activities? Anong tawag natin dyan? It refers to the non-violation of prison rules and active involvement in rehabilitation program and authorized work activities. Siyempre, hindi naman yan parol, lalong-lalong hindi naman yan probation. So between Bravo and Delta, what will be the correct answer? Non-violation of prison rules, of course, that is referring to good conduct. Okay? So ano naman yung preventive imprisonment? It is applicable para doon sa mga detention prisoner natin na nag-sign ng manifestation. They can earn a full credit for preventive imprisonment kapag ka nag-sign sila ng manifestation. Kapag ka naman hindi sila nag-sign ng manifestation, pwede rin, mabibigyan pa rin sila ng preventive imprisonment, pero forfeit lang. Okay, equivalent to 80% ng deduction na i-stay nila while they are undergoing trial or undergoing investigation. Okay? So, who may be entitled to conduct, who may be entitled to good conduct time allowance? Is it Alpha, only convicted prisoners? Bravo, only detention prisoners? Charlie, only prisoners sentenced to life imprisonment? And Delta, both detainee and convicted prisoners. Sa pala nga sumasagot, si Mr. Florendo, ang sagot niya ay Delta. What about the others? So, sino yung mga entitled for the grant of good conduct time allowance? Okay, the answer is Delta. So it is applicable for detainees and convicted prisoners. So para ma-qualify yung ating detainee for the grant of time allowances, kailangan mag-sign siya ng PDL's manifestation. Okay? Now, ang tanong, yung mga prisoners ba na convicted at ang penalty nila ay life imprisonment, pwede pa silang mabigyan ng time allowances? Yes, Alpha. No, Bravo. So kahit ba life imprisonment, yung kanilang penalty, pwede pa rin silang makapag-earn ng time allowances like good conduct time allowance, STAL, at yung task year. Pwede ba? Okay, so the answer is yes. Okay, yes. Pero, may pero yes, po pwede silang makapag-earn pero hindi siya automatically mag-grant. Kasi kung life imprisonment pa yan, in general, hindi talaga sila po pwedeng mabigyan ng time allowance. So, kailan nila mapapakinabangan yung kanilang mga time allowance na ma-earn kapag ka nagkaroon na ng commutation of sentence. Say, for example, from life imprisonment, ginawa ng reclusion temporal. Ayan. Po pwede na ngayong ma-apply yung kanilang na-earn na time allowances. Pero hanggat yung penalty nila nananatiling life imprisonment, kahit na na-earn nila yan, hindi yan magiging applicable. So take note of that. So the rule in good conduct time allowance, IRR, sino yung mga entitled? So under section 1, ang entitled dyan is detention prisoner. But take note, kapag ka-detention prisoner, kailangan they are qualified for the credit for preventive imprisonment for his good conduct and exemplary behavior. Paano ba maging entitled for the full credit for preventive imprisonment? Kailangan mag-sign ng manifestation. Diba? Kasi kapag hindi siya nag-sign ng manifestation, hindi siya po pwedeng mabigyan ng time allowance. Pero meron naman siyang deduction, which is forfeit lang. Pero kapag kasi nag-sign niya ng manifestation, full credit. Kung ilang taon or buwan yung in-stay niya sa loob ng kulungan, yun talaga yung iaawas kapag nagkaroon na siya ng actual penalty of imprisonment. And then prisoner convicted, automatic na yan, the moment na pumasok yan sa loob ng kulungan at meron na siyang mitimus order, automatically mag-i-start na yung counting for the grant of good conduct time allowance. So that is according to the IRR. Okay, monthly yan po pwedeng i-earn, pero hindi siya monthly ginagrant. Magkaiba yun. So, pwede mo siyang ma-earn monthly, pero hindi siya automatically na nag-grant monthly. Hindi. Okay, according to the new IRR, ang granting ngayon ng time allowances kapag natapos nila yung first 2 years ng kanilang penalty of imprisonment. Iko-compute and then minsanang iaawas or ibabawas. Okay? Next, during the first 2 years of imprisonment, how many days per month may be deducted from the sentence for good behavior? Si Alpha, 15 days, Bravo, 20, Charlie, 23, delta 30 days. So ilan? First 2 years of imprisonment, ilan yung po pwede nilang ma-earn? Okay, that is 20 days. Okay? What about during the 11th year and onwards? Ilan yung po pwedeng maging deduction? 11th year, pataas. 23 ba kapag ka 11th year? Kapag ka 11th year na yan, that is 30 days. Okay, the answer is delta. So what, may sagot, bonus, what committee is responsible for assessing and evaluating prisoners for time deduction such as good conduct time allowance? So sino yung mag-i-evaluate niyan? Sino yung mag-assess for recommendation? That will be the MSEC. Okay, the Management, Screening, and Evaluation Committee. So that is according to Section 3, the Director of the Bucor, the Chief of the BJMP, and the Wardens of the various provinces, cities, districts, and municipalities are mandated to assess, evaluate, and grant time deduction to a deserving prisoner, whether detained or convicted by final judgment in the form of CCTA, STAL, and TAS-TM as prescribed by the rules through the creation of the MSEC. Okay? So, ang magre-recommend muna MSEC and then i-evaluate pa rin yan ni Director of Bucor, Chief of the BJMP, and the Warden before the grant. Okay? Next, which officials is not authorized to grant time allowances for good conduct? So, sino yung hindi pwedeng mag-grant ng time allowance? Is it Alpha? The Warden of the Provincial District, City, or Municipal Jail, Delta, the Chief of the BJMP, Charlie, Director of the Bucor, or Delta, Probation Officer. Sino yung hindi po pwedeng mag-grant? Of course, that is the Delta, Probation Officer. So again, who grants time allowances? The Director of the Bucor, the Chief of the BJMP, and then the Warden of the Provincial, District, City, or Municipal Jail. So what does STAL stand for in Correctional Administration? Ano po ang ibig sabihin ng STAL? Is it Special Treatment and Legal Allowance? Bravo, Special Time Allowance for Loyalty. Charlie, Sentence Time Adjustment Law. Or Delta, Standard Time Allowance for Liberty. Ang mga nasa choices ay gawa-gawa lang. Ayan, so isa lang talaga dyan ang tama. Okay, so STAL stands for Special Time Allowance for Loyalty. Ayan. Next question. What is the required period within which a PDL who escaped during a calamity must surrender to authorities to qualify for STAL, or Special Time Allowance for Loyalty? Okay, so that is within 48 hours. Now, the answer is bravo, 48 hours. Intindihin nyo na lang maigi yung tanong ha. Kung ang tinatanong oras, natural lang isasagot mo oras. Pero kung tinatanong araw, ang isasagot mo araw. Baka kasi minsan, ang tinatanong sa question, within how many days na kailangan mag-surrender. So 2 days, kahit na meron pang 48 hours of choices. Kasi days ang tinatanong. Kapag hours naman, 48 hours ang isasagot. Okay? So the PDL surrenders to authorities within 48 hours following such proclamation of passing away of calamity or catastrophe. Ayan. So 1 tip, kapag sila ay tumakas, pero bumalik within 48 hours after the declaration of the passing away of calamity. 2 tip naman yung deduction para sa mga nag-stay. Now, sino yung pwedeng mag-declare ng passing away of calamity? So take note na ang pwedeng mag-declare niyan, una yung Chief Executive, pangalawa yung Local Chief Executive. So pwedeng si Chief Executive or si President. Sa local chief executive naman, dalawa yan, either the governor or the mayor ang pwedeng mag-declare. Okay? So what deduction from the sentence is granted to a PDL who escaped during a calamity but surrendered within the required period? Ilan deduction? Si Talpa, 1/10, ayan, 1 tip, 2 tip, or 1/2. Okay? Kung minsan ang tinatanong din, ginagawang percent, ano? Baka naman kasi Alpha, 10%, Bravo, 20%, Charlie, 30%, Delta, 40%. Baka malito na kayo. 1 tip is the correct answer And ang equivalent percentage niyan doon sa penalty of imprisonment nila ay 20. Okay, 20% yan. 1/5 or 20% ng kanilang sentence. So what about for those PDL who choose to stay in prison during the calamity instead of escaping? Ilan yung deduction? That is 2/5 din. Kasi na-discuss na natin. So 2/5 is equivalent to 40% of deduction. 40% kapag ka 2/5. So ano naman ang ibig sabihin ng TAS-TM? In correctional administration, is it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Again, yung ibang choices dyan, gawa-gawa lang. Sino si Romar? Okay, so TAS-TM refers to Bravo, time allowance for study, teaching, and mentoring. Ilan yung additional deduction dito? Kapag ka ikaw ay nag-aral, nagturo, or nag-mentor, pakitype or pakisend sa comment box. Ilan yung additional deduction per month kapag ka nag-aral, nagturo, nag-mentor? Okay, additional 15 days. Good. Ayan. So the answer is 15 days. Next. If a PDL is qualified from good conduct time allowance, what happens to eligibility for TAS-TM? So kapag ka yung isang PDL during the month ay hindi nabigyan ng GCTA, anong mangyayari dun sa kanyang eligibility for TAS-TM? Is it Alpha? The PDL is automatically disqualified. The PDL, Bravo, the PDL may still qualify for TAS-TM. Charlie, the PDL must be released immediately. Or Delta, the PDL loses all the privileges. Ano ang mangyayari? So, during the month, hindi ka nabigyan ng good conduct time allowance. Ibig sabihin ba nun, hindi ka rin po pwedeng mabigyan ng TAS-TM? Anong sagot dito? Is it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Sige, eliminate muna natin yung mga malayong maging sagot. Charlie, of course, hindi naman disqualified ka na nga sa GCTA tapos i-release ka pa. Siyempre, hindi naman po pwede yun. Okay? Hindi kaya naman, dahil ba disqualified ka ng GCTA, mawawalan ka na ng privileges? Diba rin? Hindi rin naman. Okay? So, eliminate natin yung Charlie and Delta. So, between Alpha and Bravo, what will be the correct answer? Ano ang po pwedeng mangyari? Okay? Kapag ka na hindi ka nabigyan ng good conduct time allowance, ano ang mangyayari dun sa eligibility for TAS-TM? Okay? Take note, hindi yan makaka-apekto. Magkaiba yung time allowance dun sa TAS-TM. So kahit na within the month, hindi ka makakuha ng GCTA, pero ikaw ay nag-aral, nagturo, nag-mentor, hindi yun makaka-apekto. Mabibigyan ka pa rin. So the PDL may still qualify for TAS-TM. Okay? Hindi siya automatically disqualified na kapag wala kang TAS-TM, wala ka ring GCTA. Or kung wala kang GCTA, wala ka ring TAS-TM. Okay? Hindi siya nag-work ng ganon. So next, what term refers to the temporary confinement in prison while the accused is undergoing investigation, trial, or awaiting final judgment? Ano yung tawag natin dyan? Refers to the temporary confinement. Okay? That is what we call preventive imprisonment. Okay? So take note, ang pwedeng mag-undergo ng preventive imprisonment, yung mga detention prisoner natin, provided that they will sign a manifestation. Okay? Ayan. So what document is a written declaration that the PDL agrees to follow the same disciplinary rules imposed on convicted offenders or prisoners to receive full credit for preventive imprisonment? Anong tawag natin doon? Waiver ba ang tawag doon? Sabi dyan, the PDL agrees to follow the same disciplinary rules. Ano yung document na yon? Is it a PDL's waiver or a PDL's manifestation? Okay, so the answer for this question is manifestation. Okay, paano naman yung written declaration wherein yung PDL ayaw niyang mag-abide or mag-agree doon sa same disciplinary rules? Ang isa-sign niya naman, PDL's waiver. Okay, so anong mangyayari kapag ka nag-sign ng PDL's waiver? Dito, kapag ka yung detainee nag-sign ng PDL's waiver, hindi sila po pwedeng mabigyan ng time allowances. GCTA, TAS-TM, STAL, hindi sila po pwedeng mabigyan nun. Okay? pero meron silang preventive imprisonment pa rin. Meron pa rin makakredit. Ilan na lang. Ang makakredit lang sa kanila is forfeit. Ay forfeit lang ang mababawas or equivalent to 80% ng kanilang pagkakakulong while being a detainee. Pero kapag ka PDL's manifestation yan, kahit na detainee pa lang yung mga yan, meron na silang full credit. Meaning, kung ilan yung i-stay nila sa kulungan habang sila ay detainee, yun ang iaawas kapag ka nagkaroon na sila ng actual penalty of imprisonment. And at the same time, meron din silang chance for the grant of time allowances. Pwede silang mabigyan ng GCTA, STM, at ng STAL. Yun yung pinagkaiba. And so which of the following is a requirement for a PDL to receive full credit for preventive imprisonment? Ano yung requirement natin? Si Talpa must voluntarily sign the PDL's waiver. Bravo must voluntarily sign the PDL's manifestation. Charlie must refuse prison regulation. Delta must escape during detention. Ano sagot dito? Ano yung requirement natin para makareceive yung PDL natin or detainee ng full credit for preventive imprisonment? Isa pa lang yung sumasagot. Ano yung kailangan nilang i-voluntarily na i-sign? Of course, that is PDL's manifestation. They must voluntarily sign the PDL's manifestation to receive full credit for preventive imprisonment. Okay? So if a PDL refuses to sign the manifestation but signs a PDL's waiver, how much credit for preventive imprisonment may he receive? Full credit pa rin ba yan? Alpha, Bravo, 1/2, Charlie, forfeit, or Delta, no credit. Okay, so goods, that is forfeit. So kapag hindi sila nag-sign ng manifestation at ayaw nilang mag-abide sa rules, meron pa rin naman silang credit for preventive imprisonment. Yung nga lang, forfeit lang, hindi siya buo. Okay, equivalent to 80% deduction. Next, so one was convicted of an election offense. He applied for probation claiming it was his first offense. So what should the court do? So si Talpa, grant probation because it is his first offense. Charlie, deny probation because election offenses are disqualified. Charlie, grant probation if the penalty is less than 6 years. And Delta, refer the case for community service instead. So majority answered Charlie. Intindihin natin yung tanong ha. One was convicted of an election offense. He applied for probation claiming na first time niya. Ano ang gagawin ni court kapag ka-election offense? Diba? That is one of the disqualification provided by special law. Now, once na yan ay nakabiolate ng election offense or BP 881, diba, hindi siya po pwedeng mabigyan ng probation kahit na yan ay kanyang first offense pa. So therefore, the answer would be Bravo. It will be denied. Okay? Deny the probation because election offenses are disqualified. Okay? Next. What about for this question? Maria was convicted for violating Republic Act 6727. Okay? The Wage Rationalization Act. She filed for probation arguing that the offense is not serious. How should the court rule? Ano ang magiging ruling? Is it Alpha, grant probation if the penalty is less than 6 years? Bravo, grant probation if she pays the fine? Charlie, deny probation because the law disqualifies her? And Delta, allow probation upon approval of the DOLE. Ano ang sagot? May sumagot ng Bravo, may sumagot ng Alpha. Ito na, dito na tayo nagkakatalo. Klaro naman tayo, diba, doon sa batas, which disqualifies the grant of probation. Ano na nga ulit yun? Election Code, yung BT 881 or Batas Pambansa bilang 881, the Omnibus Election Code, automatic disqualified yan. Republic Act 6727, the Wage Rationalization Act, kapag kaya niyong nakumit, automatic disqualified yan. At yung Republic Act 9165, except Section 12, 14, 17, 57, and 70. So, anong sagot natin dito? Siyempre, deny probation because the law disqualifies her. That is mandated or that is already stated by Republic Act 6727. na kapag kaya niyong na-violate, regardless of the penalty of imprisonment, disqualified yan to apply for probation. Okay? So I hope we're clear with that. Next. So Pedro was found guilty under Republic Act 9165 for possession of drug paraphernalia. He applied for probation. What is the proper action? Is it alpha, grant probation since it is first offense? Bravo, grant probation since it is an exemption. Charlie, deny probation because drug offenses are non-probationable. And then Delta, allow probation subject to rehabilitation. Ano ba yung possession of drug paraphernalia? Anong section yan? Doon sa Republic Act 9165. Kasi doon sa Republic Act 9165, though as a general rule, disqualified, pero may pinoprovide sa exemption, di ba? Section 12, Section 14, Section 17, 57, and 70. Ano ba yung possession of drug paraphernalia? That is Section 12. So therefore, pwede bang i-grant yung probation? Pwede. The answer would be bravo. Okay? Grant probation as it is an exemption. Okay? So alamin nyo, ano yung Section 12, 14, 17, 57, and then yung 70. Okay? Next question. Lisa was sentenced to 4 years imprisonment. She applied for probation. What is the allowable maximum probation period? The question is asking for the maximum. Kapag ka si Lisa ay nasentensyahan ng 4 na taon, okay, at nag-apply siya ng probation, ilan yung maximum or ano yung maximum na period of supervision? Okay? So, authority got the correct answer. The answer would be Delta. Not more than 6 years. Again, dalawa lang ho yan. Not more than 2 years at not more than 6 years. If the penalty is exact 1 year or less, ang maximum na probation period, not more than 2 years. If it is more than 1 year and 1 day hanggang 6 years. Ayan, not more than 6 years yung kanilang supervision period. Next question, a BPA is assigned 12 probationers classified as minimum cases. Is this assignment proper? So nabigyan yung ating volunteer probation aid ng 12 probationers which is classified as minimum. Okay? So proper ba yung assignment na yan? Is it alpha? Yes, because minimum cases are easier to handle. Bravo, yes, if approved by the court. Charlie, no, because it exceeds the allowed number. And then Delta, no, because BPAs cannot handle minimum cases. Okay? Ayan, so tama ang naging sagot. So the answer is Charlie, no, because it exceeds the allowed number. Ano na nga ulit yung allowed number natin na i-handle ng BPA? Minimum, okay? 3 lang ang allowed. Okay? At yung maximum naman ay 10. So, sino yung ex-officio member ng ating Board of Pardons and Parole? Is it Alpha, the Director of the Bucor, the Administrator of the PPA, the Secretary of Justice, or the President? Ano sagot niyo dito? Who is the ex-officio member of the Board of Pardons and Parole? May sumagot pa, Secretary of Justice. Bravo, Administrator of PPA. Secretary of Justice ay hindi po ex-officio member ng BPP. Okay, so anong sagot natin dito? Ex-officio member, Director of the Bureau of Correction. O, nagkaiba-iba kayo ng sagot ha. Ang ex-officio member natin, by virtue of position, ng automatic member ng BPP is yung administrator ng PPA. Take note. Okay, siya yung ex-officio member ng BPP. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng ex-officio? By virtue of position, automatic, magiging miyembro ka ng organization. Okay? That is administrator of PPA. Take note. Next. So what agency is responsible for conducting post-sentence investigation? So ang tinatanong ay agency, lahat ang dalawa dyan ay department, di ba? We can eliminate Charlie. We can also eliminate Delta. So between Alpha and Bravo, what will be the correct answer? Sino yung responsible for the conduct of post-sentence investigation? Okay? Ang sagot natin dyan ay PPA. Take note, for investigation and supervision, okay? Ang may trabaho niyan, si Parole and Probation Administration or PPA. Tandaan nyo, ang trabaho ni DPP, mag-grant ng parole, mag-recommend ng executive clemency kay President. Yun lang. For investigation and for supervision, ang may trabaho niyan, si PPA. Okay? Next one. So, which law is known as the Recognizance Act of 2012? Recognizance Act, ha? Recognizance Act of 2012. Ang sinasagot nyo is yung Good Conduct Time Allowance Law. Republic Act 10592 is also known as the Good Conduct Time Allowance Law. Anong sagot natin dito? Recognizance Act of 2012, that is Charlie. Republic Act 10389. Ano yung 9165? The Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Okay, ano yung Delta? Meron bang Delta? So yung Delta, mali yan. Supposed to be, that is Act 3815, the Revised Penal Code Law. Okay, dapat hindi yan Republic Act. Dapat yan ay Act 3815, the RTC Law, Revised Penal Code Law. So 10592 naman is the Good Conduct Time Allowance Law. So which condition would disqualify an accused from being released on recognizance? So alin kaya dito yung magdi-disqualify sa ating accused from being released on recognizance? Si Alpha, being unable to post bail due to poverty, being a recidivist or habitual delinquent, Charlie residing in the same barangay for 10 years, or Delta, being a first-time offender. So sino yung alin dito yung magdi-disqualify para ma-release on recognizance? So ito, minsan, common sense, di ba? So kapag kaya na isang recidivist or habitual delinquent, they are disqualified for release on recognizance. And that is according to Republic Act 10389. Okay? So kapag ka-recidivist ka or habitual delinquent ka, hindi ka po pwedeng mabigyan ng ROR or release on recognizance. Next question. Ana Manalastas was convicted 3 times of robbery. She applies for parole after serving her minimum sentence. What will likely happen? Ano ang mangyayari? Si Alpha disqualifies due to recidivism. Bravo disqualifies due to quasi-recidivism. Charlie disqualifies due to reiteration, or Delta disqualifies due to habitual delinquency. So, si Manalastas ay convicted 3 times of robbery. Nag-apply siya ng parole. After serving minimum sentence, ano yung mangyayari? So, of course, disqualify siya due to habitual delinquency. Ano ba yung recidivism? Diba? Ang recidivism naman, you are previously convicted and then you committed another crime embraced within the same title. So, for example, convicted ka dati ng theft. Nakalaya ka na pero nag-commit ka ulit ng robbery. Or nag-commit ka ng robbery and those crimes are both embraced within the same title. Diba? You are considered as recidivist. Okay? Kapag ka naman quasi-recidivism, ano ang ibig sabihin yan? Diba? While you are about to serve your sentence inside the prison, or you are already serving your sentence inside the prison, you committed another felony. Okay? And when I say felony, ano ang ibig sabihin nun? Felony, punishable by the Revised Penal Code. So kung ikaw ay makukulong, about to be in prison, okay, pero nakadetain ka na or di kaya naman nag-serve ka na ng sentence mo sa loob ng kulungan at nag-commit ka ng crime sa loob ng kulungan. Okay? Punishable by the Revised Penal Code, you are considered as quasi-recidivist. Reiteration on the other hand, okay, dito naman, the crime may be higher or lower. Say for example, you are previously convicted of murder at nakalaya ka. And then after that, nag-commit ka ng theft. That is what we call reiteration. Okay? Or vice versa. Dati kang na-convict ng theft at pagkalaya mo, nakapatay ka. That is also called reiteration. The penalty may be higher or lower. So, nakasunod kayo doon? K nga. Send K sa comment box kung nasundan niyo yun. Isa lang ba ang nakasunod? Si Ubando lang? Okay, so next question tayo. Oh, bonus. If a parolee wants to travel outside his territorial jurisdiction for a period of not more than 30 days, who shall approve the request? Sino yung mag-approve? Is it ALPA, the PPO who supervises the parolee, the trial court, the CPPO, or the regional director? So take note, kapag ka parolee ang pinag-uusapan natin, iba yan sa probationer. So kapag ka nag-request yan for travel outside of not more than, nang hindi lalagpas sa 30 days, ang mag-approve po niyan yung CPPO. Okay? Pero kung lalagpas yan ng 30 days, sino mag-approve? Sige nga, yun na lang yung sagutan natin. What if the request for outside travel is more than 30 days? Sino mag-approve? Is it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Ano sagot nyo? Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Trial court ba kapag ka more than 30 days? Sa probation yon mga kapatid. Iba yung sa parole. Yes, tama kayo. Kapag ka more than 30 days at probation yan, trial court talaga. Pero hindi na po probation ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Parole na. Okay? So kapag ka parole, regional director yan. Okay? So kapag ka not more than 30 days, CPPO. Kapag ka naman more than 30 days, regional director. Okay? So travel or work abroad ng parolee or pardonee, sino yung mag-a-approve? Mag-a-approve dyan yung administrator upon the confirmation of the Board of Pardons and Parole. Now, for the transfer of residence, and either the regional director or the administrator may approve. Okay, so I hope klaro tayo dito. Okay, iba yung parole sa probation. Iba yung approving authority sa probation, iba yung approving authority pagdating kay parole. Okay? Ayun, so that's the end of non-insti. Proceed tayo with the therapeutic modalities. Okay? So yung therapeutic modalities natin, focus lang tayo dun sa mga tingin ko pwedeng pagkuhanan ng tanong. Okay? So first question natin. Ayan. So Maria was imprisoned for 8 months before being acquitted. So how much is the maximum compensation she may receive? Anong sagot niyo dito, mga kapatid? Ang sagot ay Bravo. Okay? So the correct answer is Bravo. So take note, this is under the Victim Compensation Program under the DOJ. So para mabigyan natin ng compensation yung mga naging biktima, nag-create ng Republic Act 7309. Okay? And then yung batas na yon ay nag-create din ng tinatawag na Board of Claims. So doon pinaprocess ngayon yung Victim Compensation Program doon sa Board of Claims. So para sa mga biktima ng unjust imprisonment or detention, pwede silang makakuha ng maximum 60,000 pero 1,000 per month yung computation. Okay? And then for the victims of violent crimes naman, ang pwede nilang makuha ay maximum of 10,000 pesos. So dahil si Maria ay nakulong ng 8 months before being acquitted, dahil nga ang computation natin ay 1,000 per month, then the answer would be Bravo. Okay? So what about for this question? Ana suffered injuries from a violent crime and spent 15,000 for treatment. So what is the maximum amount she may receive? Okay, so si Ana na nagsuffer ng injuries dahil sa violent crime ay gumastos ng 15,000 Okay, ilan ang po pwede niyang ma-receive under the Victim Compensation Program. Okay, so kahit pa yan ay gumastos ng 100,000 ng 1,000,000. Okay, ang po pwede lang makuha ni Ana according to the law is 10,000. So that is the maximum amount na po pwedeng makuha ng mga victims ng violent crimes, 10,000. Okay? So which applicant best qualifies under Republic Act 7309? Is it Alpha, a detainee released after plea bargaining? Bravo, a person acquitted after wrongful imprisonment? Charlie, a suspect freed due to lack of witnesses? Or Delta, Supreme Court? So sino dyan sa mga applicant ang qualified for Victim Compensation Program and under Republic Act 7309? First, that is a person acquitted after wrongful imprisonment. Okay, the answer would be bravo. Kaya naman yung mga victims ng violent crimes. Next question. Ayan. So in case of death or incapacity of any person entitled to any award under this act, the claim may be filed by his heirs in the following order. So ano yung pagkakasunod-sunod? Sino yung mga po pwedeng makinabang kapag yung isang tao ay namatay na or di kaya they are incapacitated para kuhanin yung kanilang kumbaga parang award. Si Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Sino ba yung unang makikinabang? Kung alam mo kung sino yung unang makakakuha, okay, nung kanilang claim, madali mong makukuha yung tamang sagot. Okay? Of course, that is the Charlie. Mauuna po muna yung asawa. Ayan. Pagkatapos, kung wala yung asawa, yung anak. Ayan. Kung wala yung anak, yung kanyang parents. Kung wala po yung parents, yung brothers or sister na. Okay, so the answer is Charlie. So we'll proceed with the different approaches to psychotherapy. Okay, so there are 5 approaches to psychotherapy. We have the psychoanalysis, or also known as psychodynamic therapy. We have the behavior therapy, the cognitive behavioral therapy, humanistic therapy, and then yung integrative therapy. Okay, so aralin natin anong pinagkaiba ng 5 yan. Okay, parang hindi ko to nakita during the long quiz and the P2 exam. So baka lang may lumabas sa inyong final exam. Okay, so psychoanalysis, what are the things you need to remember? Okay, so it focuses on changing problematic behavior, feelings and thoughts, at paano nyo yung ginagawa. Okay, ang key term na kailangan yung matandaan with psychoanalysis or psychodynamic therapy, ginagamot niya yung mga problematic behavior, yung mga feelings and thoughts by discovering unconscious memories and past experiences. So dito, para magamot yung behavior ng isang tao, kailangan niyang bumalik sa nakaraan. Kasi according to some of the psychologists, okay, na ang ugali ng isang tao, meron daw kinalaman yung kanyang nakaraan. Okay, di ba kaya nga minsan, di ba kayo nagtataka kung bakit yung mga ibang tao ay ayaw nang makipagrelasyon? Baka pala nung nakaraan ay sobrang nasaktan, iniwan, di ba? Dinurog ang kanyang puso. So maaaring kaya pala ayaw niya nang makipagrelasyon kasi may ganun siyang nakaraan, di ba? Kung ano daw yung ugali na meron ka ngayon, kung paano yung behavior mo, may kinalaman yung nakaraan. Okay, so anong method ang ginagamit dito ng mga therapists natin? So gumagamit sila ng dream analysis, yung mga panaginip na meron ka, meron siyang equivalent na kahulugan sa nararanasan mo ngayon. Hindi katulad yan sa Pilipinas, di ba, na kapag ikaw ay nanaginip ng ahas, ang magandang gawin mo dyan ay tayaan mo ng wedding. Diba? So sa psychoanalysis, hindi ganon. Okay? Ang panaginip mo ay meron siyang equivalent na kahulugan based on your behavior. And then, the other one is free association. Hinahayaan yung isang tao na magkwento ng magkwento hanggang sa malaman yung punot dulo kung bakit siya nagkakaganon. Okay, so that is for psychoanalysis. Again, tinitreat yung mga bad behavior or problematic behavior sa papaanong paraan, bumabalik sa nakaraan, sa mga childhood experiences, sa mga past experiences. Okay? Oops. What about the next? Behavior therapy. So sa behavior therapy naman, these are the things that you need to remember. It seeks to identify and help change potentially self-destructive or unhealthy behaviors. Okay? How? Paano niya ginagawa yon? By turning the negative behavior into positive behavior through application of therapy. So, yung behavior therapy kasi, there are different branches of behavior therapy. And one of those is psychoanalysis. Kumbaga, ang kailangan nyo na lang tandaan dito, if the question is in general, say for example, what therapy is used to change negative or bad behavior? Diba? General yung tanong, ang isasagot mo palagi, behavior therapy. Kaya mo isasagot yung iba kapag tayo specific na. Diba? Example, what therapy may be used to change negative or bad behavior by going back to past experiences. Diba? Kapag ka nagiging specific na, going back to past experiences, paano mo babaguhin yung bad or negative behavior, that is psychoanalysis or psychodynamic therapy. Ganun siya. Okay? So, these are the following examples of behavioral therapy that can be used. Yung CBT and the cognitive behavioral therapy, aversion therapy, and system desensitization. Pasensya na, wrong spelling yung system desensitization. Mali. Okay? Pakitama nyo na lang. Ano? By the way, yung aversion therapy, saan yan ginagamit? Ginagamit yan to treat yung mga vices. And kapag may mga addiction, ayan, sa isang bagay, katulad ng pag-inom ng alak, paninigarilyo, ang pwede dyan, aversion therapy. Kapag naman, system desensitization, ang tinitreat dyan, yung mga phobia. Okay, phobias. Applicable yan for phobias. So, take note of that. Okay? Next one is the cognitive behavioral therapy. So, things to remember, it focuses on the thoughts, the feelings, emotions, and physical sensations. They are interconnected. So, sabi dyan, ang pag-iisip, ang nararamdaman, ang physical sensation ng isang tao, they are interconnected. Pero saan nakafocus ang cognitive behavioral therapy? Okay? Take note, nakafocus lang yan doon sa negative thoughts. Kailangan niyo lang baguhin yung negative thoughts into positive thoughts or from negative thinking to positive thinking. Kasi kapag kayong isang tao daw ay nag-iisip ng negatibo, ganun na rin yung kanyang magiging feeling. Diba? Hindi na rin magiging maganda yung kanyang pakiramdam, yung kanyang emosyon ay kumbaga papangit din, as well as the physical sensation. Kaya nga kung iisipin mong babagsak ka sa POA, and the rest will follow. Anong gagawin ng katawan mo? Tatamarin ka na rin. Malulungkot ka na rin. Hindi ka na magre-review. Diba? Ganyan yung nangyayari kapag ka negative thinker ang isang tao, may negative thoughts. Sunod na dyan yung kanyang emotion. Pero kung iisipin mong ikaw ay papasa, ayaw mo, anong mangyayari dun sa magiging actions mo? What will happen with your feelings, emotion, and physical sensation? Diba? At the same time, kung positive ang thinking mo, magiging positive din yung kanyang emotion and physical sensation. So that is how CBT works. Okay? From negative thoughts, gagawin niya lang positive thoughts. So examples of the cognitive behavioral techniques are self-reflection, breathing techniques, and identifying faulty thinking. Okay? Isa lang sa disadvantage nito, hindi siya nakafocus or hindi niya tinitignan yung mga past experiences but rather nakafocus lang siya dun sa current experience or present experience ng isang tao. Okay? Also known as collaborative effort between a therapist and the client. Then last one. Next one is humanistic approach. Okay? So things to remember in humanistic approach, yung subjective experiences. Take note of this. Okay? Subjective experiences. When we say subjective experiences, personal perception, and internal understanding of the world around us. Lahat ng tao daw ay merong subjective experiences. Ano ang trabaho ng therapist sa humanistic approach? Ang trabaho niya lang dito ay listener. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng mag-comment, hindi siya pwedeng magbigay ng payo. Ang pwede niya lang gawin ay makinig. Okay? So ang paniniwala kasi sa humanistic approach na ang isang tao ay isinilang na mabuti. Kaya balang araw, malalaman niya rin kung ano yung tama at kung paano niya gagawin ang tama. Okay? Palagi ko yung sinasabi sa mga interns ko sa mail. Ang ina-apply ko palagi, humanistic approach. Pero para sa akin talaga, katulad ng ibang mga psychologists, ang sabi nila, wala daw kwenta ang humanistic approach. Hindi siya applicable. Kasi kung hahayaan mo lang ang isang tao na ma-figure out, yung balang araw, tamang gagawin niya, disaster, magiging demonyo, mga damunyos. Okay, kung hindi mo sila susuwayin, haantayin mo lang na sila ay magbago, damunyos talaga. Okay? Sira ang buhay mo. Okay? So take note that the therapist in this therapy acts as a non-judgmental, respectful listener who guides the therapeutic process. They acknowledge your experience without trying to shift the conversation in another direction. So dito, wala kang salitang gagawin, makikinig ka lang. Okay? Kaya nga pagka minsan may mga kaibigan tayong nagsasabi sa atin, di ba? Ano na yan eh? Hindi mo na tawag dito ng term sa Tagalog yun. Baga hindi mo lang yung term, pero nagagawa mo na pala siya. Kapag may nagsasabi sa'yo at wala kang sinasabi, wala kang ginagawa, that is already humanistic approach. Kumbaga parang hindi ka magbibigay ng comment, makikinig ka lang. Intindihin mo yung tao kasi yung mga tao daw ay may subjective experiences. Maaaring yung pinagdadaanan niya ay para sa'yo magaan, pero para sa kanya napakabigat na nun. Kaya hindi ka po pwedeng magbigay ng comment na ang dali-dali pa lang ng pinagdadaanan mo, wala pa kaya sa problema ko. Hindi po pwede sa humanistic approach yun. Okay? Hindi mo siya pwedeng husgahan base dun sa kanyang pinagdadaanan niya kasi nga daw ang isang tao ay may iba't ibang subjective experiences. Maaaring yung problemang pinagdadaanan niya ay napakabigat pero sa'yo magaan lang kasi natapos ka na doon. Pero hindi mo siya po pwedeng husgahan. Okay, hayaan mo lang siya na ma-figure out yung mga tamang gawin. Okay? That is for humanistic approach. Next, integrative therapy. So for integrative therapy, these are the things you need to remember. Okay? It focuses on the relationship between the mind, the body, and spirit. Okay? So hindi siya katulad ng CBT na ang focus lang ay negative thoughts or thinking. Dito sa integrative therapy, tinitreat niya lahat as a whole. The mind, the body, and spirit. So kapag ka nagbigay yung therapist dito ng mga session or ng mga techniques, kailangan natitreat yung mind, nagkakaroon ng peace yung mind, nagkakaroon ng relaxation yung body, and then yung spirit, nagkakaroon kumbaga ng good relationship with the environment. By the way, yung spirit na tinutukoy dito, hindi yung kaluluwa or espiritu. Ang tinutukoy na spirit dito, yung relationship mo with your environment, with the people revolving around you. Hindi yung kaluluwa. Baka kasi pumunta kayo ng albularyo at sabihin mo, boss, pwede ba integrative therapy? May problema yung kaluluwa ko eh. Hindi pwede. So, selecting techniques from different therapeutic orientation. Okay? So, dahil nasa integrative therapy, gumagamit kasi tayo dito ng combination of technique that is suited in our client's problem. Okay? So, we can select what are the best techniques na po pwede natin gamitin. Ang problema lang sa integrative therapy, nakasalalay ang treatment dito sa therapist, hindi doon sa client. Bakit? Kasi yung therapist ang pipili ng technique. At kung yung technique na pipiliin niya ay palpak din yung magiging treatment. Okay? So yun lang naman yung cons ng integrative therapy. Okay? So punta tayo sa mga katanungan. Ayan. So why is humanistic therapy considered difficult to study scientifically? Ano ang sagot niyo dito? Again, comment box tayo. Comment box. Si Talpa, it uses combination of technique. B, it places emphasis on subjective experiences. Charlie, it focuses on changing the negative thoughts. Or Delta, it focuses on childhood issues exclusively. Di ba, tandaan lang natin yung mga keyword. Kapag humanistic therapy, ang tinutukoy natin dito, subjective experiences. That's why the answer is Bravo. Ano yung alpha? It uses combination of techniques. Di ba? That is for integrative therapy or also known as holistic therapy. Okay? Integrative therapy or holistic therapy. What about Charlie? Changing the negative thoughts. Di ba? That is cognitive behavioral therapy. And then yung delta naman, focusing on childhood issues, that is the psychoanalysis, okay? Or psychodynamic therapy. Next, therapy that is brief, goal-focused, and supported by strong scientific evidence for its effectiveness. So ano yung therapy na maiksi lang ang gamutan? It is goal-focused, which is supported by strong scientific evidence for its effectiveness. So wala ito sa slide, kaya ako yung sasagot, that is cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, take note that the cognitive behavioral therapy, that is only a brief, maiksi lang yung gamutan, it is goal-focused, kasi nga, nakapokus lang yan doon sa current problem ng isang tao, and it is supported by a strong scientific evidence. Marami ang nagsasabi na very effective ang CBT. Okay, sa pag-treat ng mga behavioral problems ng isang tao. Okay? While psychoanalysis, hindi po yan brief. Napakatagal na gamutan yan kasi ang babalikan mo dyan past experiences. So imaginein mo na lang, babalik ka sa past experiences, hindi mo yan magagawa ng ganun kabilis. Eh ganun din yung integrative therapy. Hindi siya brief kasi gagamit ka pa ng multiple techniques. At yung humanistic ay hindi rin brief kasi nga hahayaan mo yung tao na ma-figure out kung ano yung tama sa mali. Okay? Next. So a client complains that their therapy feels too optimistic, assuming everyone is naturally good, but it does not consider the limits of their real life circumstances. So which treatment model shows this advantage? Maghanap tayo ng keyword sa question. SIT alpha, psychoanalysis, Bravo, cognitive behavioral therapy, Charlie, humanistic approach, or Delta, integrative therapy. Ano yung sagot nyo dito? A client complains that their therapy feels too optimistic, assuming everyone is naturally good. Diba? Ang binanggit ko kanina, sa humanistic approach or humanistic therapy, ang tingin niya sa isang tao ay isinilang na mabuti. Yun yung keyword natin. So therefore, the answer is humanistic approach. Pasensya na, yung bilog, masyadong malaki, humanistic approach po yan. Hindi siya integrative therapy. Okay? Humanistic approach. Next question. So which therapy is most effective for uncovering unconscious motivation? Ano ang sagot dito? Is it CBT, humanistic therapy, psychoanalysis, or behavior therapy? Okay, so nagigets nyo na kapag unconscious yung unconscious motivation yan, galing yan sa mga childhood experiences, past experiences, the answer would be, oops, mali. Psychoanalysis ang sagot. Mali yung bilog. Okay, pasensya na. Uncovering unconscious motivation, that is psychoanalysis. Yan, psychoanalysis, not behavior therapy. Next question, which approach should be applied to someone struggling with exam anxiety due to irrational thinking? Ano yung pwede nating gamiting approach or therapy kapag yung isang estudyante ay nagkakaroon ng anxiety due to irrational thinking? So irrational thinking, kumbaga meron siyang negative thoughts, di ba? So the answer would be cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, CBT ang sagot natin. Then next, a prison psychologist must evaluate which model is most suitable for antisocial inmates. So what should be chosen? So for antisocial, anong magiging sagot natin? So a prison psychologist must evaluate which model is most suitable for antisocial inmates. what should be chosen? That is behavior therapy. Bakit behavior therapy? Kasi nga in general, wala siyang ini-specify kung dahil ba yan sa kanyang past experiences, dahil ba yan sa kanyang irrational thinking or negative thoughts, dahil ba yan sa kanyang subjective experiences, di ba wala naman? So ibig sabihin, ang tanong na ito ay general. Okay? Kapag ka general ang tanong, anong isasagot natin? Behavior therapy. Pero kung naka-specify dyan, di ba? Baguhin natin ha. A prison psychologist must evaluate which model is most suitable for antisocial inmates because of past experiences. Magbabago yung magiging sagot, magiging psychoanalysis. Because of negative thinking, magbabago din yung magiging sagot. Nagets nyo? Nakuha ba? Mag-type nga ng K kung nakuha. Okay, so next tayo. A client struggles with repetitive negative thoughts that trap them into a cycle of anxiety. Which therapeutic model would be most effective to help break this cycle? So, nandito na yung keyword natin, negative thoughts, repetitive negative thoughts. Ano yung gagamitin natin? Of course, that is cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay? Next, types of integrative therapy. So, 4 yan. Meron tayong 4 types of integrative therapy. We have the cognitive behavioral therapy, the family systems therapy, Gestalt therapy, and then the psychodynamic therapy. So, hindi ko na i-explain yung 1 and yung 4 kasi na-explain na natin yan kanina. Okay? So, we'll explain what is family systems therapy and Gestalt therapy. So, take note, under the family systems therapy, it looks how family members affect each other. Okay? Kumbaga, kapag may problema dapat ang isang tao, ang una niyang nagiging takbuhan ay ang kanyang pamilya. Okay? Kasi kung may problema, sabihin na natin, padre de pamilya, may problema, di ba naaapektuhan din yung mga anak or yung asawa? Okay? So kailangan i-solve nila yung problem within the family. Okay? So it helps families learn to communicate and solve problems together. Okay? So kung ang tinatanong dito, nakakasama yung pamilya on how they communicate and solve problems together, that is the family systems therapy. Okay? While the Gestalt therapy naman, it helps you focus on what's happening right now. May mga pagkakataon kasi na bigla na lang tayong tulala, di ba? Na hindi natin alam kung ano yung nangyayari sa atin. Minsan nakahiga ka lang pero ang lungkot-lungkot mo pero wala namang nangyayari sa'yo. Ang pwedeng maging therapy dyan is yung Gestalt therapy. Kapag sobra na yung lungkot mo at wala namang nangyayari sa'yo talaga, diba, wala ka naman talagang problema, maybe you need Gestalt therapy para matulungan ka ng therapist ma-explain sa'yo on what is happening right now. Okay? Bakit mo nararamdaman yan? So it helps to build self-awareness and helps understand how their behavior fits into real life. Ganon yung Gestalt therapy. Yeah. So let's put that into question. Which therapy focuses on self-awareness and what is happening in the present moment, their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and gaining perspective as to how that relates to their reality. Okay? So pagka yan ay self-awareness, pinofocus ka niya on self-awareness, kung ano yung nangyayari at the present moment, ay baka pala kaya ka nalang biglang naluluha, dahil sa mga nararanasan mong trauma noon. Ayan. So that is Gestalt therapy. Okay? So proceed tayo dun sa phases in BJMP Therapeutic Community Program. But before we proceed, okay lang ba kung ituloy natin yung discussion mamayang hapon? Sensya na kayo, hindi ako nakapag-almusal at talagang nararamdaman ko na yung kalam